All right, y'all, it is over. It is finally over. We don't have to talk about that thing, that shutdown thing, again for at least 2 whole months. But in all seriousness, complete and total defeat for the Democrats. It could not be worse. This is like the losing of their capital, politically, so to speak. And we are just now getting started. And don't worry, they are trying to get back to their own tricks and change everything around real quick, and it is not going to work. We're not going to let them get away with it, and we are going to keep on pushing forward to save this country together, make it better for ourselves and the next generation. So, as you get in here, we have got so much to talk about. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel, turn the notification bell on. The government just reopened to the chagrin of many a Dem near you. And of course, emojis, chats, comments, all of those things and engagements in the video help it go out, because I'll be candid with you guys. Today, the notifications for YouTube kicked me right in the gonads. It was brutal. So any sharing you guys could do would be amazing. All right. Looks like we are good audio, video. Everything's excellent. We were aimed to make that our standard going forward. Listen, guys. We are at a very important inflection point. As we get in here, we're about to start the process. You have to understand where we're at right now. We are literally in the middle of an entire political system shifting gears from shutdown into what else can we go after, okay? And I'm going to start to show you what's happening right now, because this is an utter and total defeat for the Team Blue, okay? Complete and total, all full loss. They got to shift to something. They're between second and third gear, right? Or some would say they're in the money clutch right now. They were in high gear, and then they just broke the gear system, screwed up the engine, and now they got to go back and rebuild the engine. That's effectively where we're at, if you want to use a lot of different analogies. But I want to go into this because we are going to cover a few things in this live stream which are incredibly important. John Fetterman saying the obvious part out loud that we all know, and now it's apparently obvious to him and all the Democrats that aren't. Woo! And then you got AOC gunning for the control of the party. We're going to show you that. We've got media saying some other quiet parts out loud. We have the whole Epstein thing blowing up in their faces. This is going to be a great show, and I cannot wait to hear what you guys think as we go through this. As always, we are in this together, so let's get it. This one, I'm going to just start this off as an interesting aside. This is an interesting one to me. Now, I'm not sure if you guys are aware how deep you are into the whole internet culture, but there's a big war going on apparently in the conservative MAGA Republican, new Republican, young Republican space online, and Nick Fuentes is one of those personalities. Now, I find this post interesting. MAGA is dead, and I'm going to highlight this real quick, and I have no beef. I'm not getting involved with anything. I just think that this sentence right here is very interesting to me. And here's why I find it interesting. You can look at the Candace Owens stuff. You can look at Nick Fuentes stuff. You can do Steven Crowder. You can do Mark Levin, Ben Shapiro. I don't care. Do your thing. Whatever. Make your own decisions. However, to say that a bunch of people who care about the country and making it better no longer exists, that seems a little odd to me. And here's why I say that. Because the whole MAGA thing, yeah, sure, it's a branded term, but it was already in place before Trump existed. We called it the Tea Party. And before that, we called it Reagan. And before that, we called it, oh, goodness gracious, I just had it. It was another thing before Reagan. I'll grab it in a second. But you have to understand, the movement and the passion to save our country and make it better than it was before in an effort to change something for a better direction, that's not something dying, all right? Let's say you have a bad idea or a bad taste in your mouth with a Trump or a Reagan or a Bush. Insert politician here. That doesn't mean the people watching this video and myself don't care about the country anymore or wanting to save it or make it better. That it kind of, I don't know. It's a very weird thing for me to hear and say, like, well, MAGA is dead. It's like, no, the people who want to save the country and do this are still fully embracing that concept and that ideology. It's not dead. You may have a problem with something, but that doesn't mean something's dead. You know what I mean? It's like, it's not like you have to go, okay, 9 out of 10 things are really good, so the entire thing's dead. It's just that fatalism. It's intriguing to me. But anyway, let's keep on going. We got a super chat. Milkman, $2 super chat says, my first catching the live stream. Let's go. Thank you so much for tuning in. You get a heart. You get to celebrate your first live stream. And thank you guys for taking part in this with Milkman. Let's get right into this. This is why I say what I just said about the whole MAGA thing being dead. You can be MAGA. You can be conservative. You can be Republican. You can be non-denominational politically. I don't know. You can do whatever you want. I don't care. Call yourself what you want. But the bottom line is, you're here because you're aligned to a greater vision for the country. You're not here because of a fealty to an individual, right? Or at least that's the way I look at it. You guys can let me know what you think in the comments over there. But to me, it's something bigger than an individual. Individuals play important parts, but they're not the whole thing. Here's an individual, for example. The left will tell you, everything's done, we win, they've lost, everyone hates Trump, lowest approval rating on the planet. Well, when you look at the real clear politics right now, after Trump just had a complete and total destruction of a shutdown and a complete and total victory, here's President Trump, Obama, and Bush second-term job approval. Donald Trump's second term is at 42.8%. Obama's is at 41.9%, so he's beating Obama. And Bush is 38.3%. He's demolishing Bush and Obama, Republican and progressive. You can say Democrat if you want to be polite. But he's beating all of those. Like, please tell me how it's dead. Like, again, this doesn't jive. There's a lot of propaganda that's going that just doesn't make a whole lot of sense to me. But we're going to keep on grinding through. Let me know if I'm landing this plane. Another super chat. Thornton Maloney with a $1.99 super chat said the midterms are going to be a disaster next year. Now, Thornton, there's a lot of things here, and I'll address that really quickly. Let me get to the next. I'll just leave it here for a second. There's a lot of things that factor into these midterms. And the next 12 months are going to be the determining factor. Now, I'll be really candid with you guys straight up because that was a super chat that I didn't induce. But the party that controls the House, the Senate, and the White House always has a disadvantage. It doesn't matter if you have a D or an R behind your name. You always have a disadvantage because the American population tends to like split governments. That's just objectively true. Okay, you can look at all of these history, all the elections. They typically will go either lose the House or lose both the House and the Senate. That is traditionally what happens. So you've already got a built-in disadvantage. So the party in power needs to do a lot of good things. Now, how you view that making it work, it's your own opinion. I personally think that the magic bullet is the affordability. And I'll do a video on this later on, but the affordability, the cost of living, the economic impacts, the ability to buy a house, grocery pricing, gas pricing, all these things are going to be the determining factor. You've seen it in election and after election after election, and I think they see that too, but we'll see. I can't tell you it's going to win. I can't tell you it's going to lose. I'm going to be here and walking through the best I can. Let's keep on going. Speaking of walking through the best I can, look, this guy's name is Tim Burchett. He is a representative, and this guy is so good at what he does because he connects through communication very, very well. And remember how I said in the introduction that the Democrats are trying to shift gears and they're trying to get back to something that views Trump in a negative light. They're trying to constantly hit, Trump, hit. Well, the Epstein thing is the thing that they think is the magic bullet for them. Well, Tim Burchett just put basically a bill on the floor that said, hey, let's just release all the files and stop talking about this. And the Democrats blocked it. All right, listen, again, I'm going to walk you through all the things that we're going to be going into over the next several days because this is where the news cycle is going. Watch this. Tim Burchett, representative.
Hey, everybody, Tim Burchett just left the House floor, and I tried to do a UC, unanimous consent, tried to get the Epstein files, get it straight to the floor, just to cut out all this nonsense. And, and the Democrats blocked it, oddly enough. Now, here they've had it for 4 years, and they obviously, if there's something there about Trump, they would have released it. And now they're all, let's get it out. Well, I just made a motion to bring it straight to the dadgum floor, and they blocked it. So this is politics. It has nothing to do with what's doing what's right. I mean, it's Washington, D.C. to a T. And again, they ought to be ashamed of themselves, but they're probably not. Thank y'all.
So here's the thing, guys. If you're going to make the entire push about how evil Donald Trump is, and he's definitely in the Epstein files, do you really genuinely think, this is the way I look at it, do you really genuinely think that after the Democrats went after him politically, they went after him financially, they went after him judicially, they went after him in a court of law, they went after him prosecutorially, you really think they were sitting on all this info and data that Donald Trump was in the Epstein files and they just held that one in their pocket? They're like, you know what? We're going to throw everything else at him. We're going to keep that one later. You really think that was the case? I mean, honest to goodness, sometimes Occam's razor does apply, right? The answer is he's not. They're just using it. And if Tim Burchett is coming out and says, well, why don't we just look at all the files? Let's just drop it. And the Democrats say, no, let's not look at it after we're not putting another Democrat in office and swearing her in from a special election to get the Epstein files. But I mean, does it make sense? Does it just pass the sniff test? That's candidly, does it? All right, super chat over here. John Winnie, $4.99 super chat says, New York, beautiful bastion of freedom. Everyone has an agenda. And if you guys are new, BBOF is something I say on every one of my shorts. That stands for the beautiful bastions of freedom. Not bastards of freedom, bastions of freedom. Because we are bastions in the sea of liberalism and socialism that's trying to take root, and we're sinking their battleships every opportunity that we get. Thank you for that super chat, John. Let's keep going, guys. We have got a lot to talk about. This one I find absolutely fascinating, and this is more just evidence. I'm just kind of stacking a few things on the front to show you how we're going to win before we get to the meat and potatoes here. Birth rates are falling more steeply among progressives than conservatives. Now, this is something that we've hit on for a while, and I just want to show this to you. When I tell you that we're winning, I'm not just talking about the shutdowns, and I'm not just talking about ideologically, and I'm not just talking about the country moving to the right, and I'm not just talking about the next generation behind us being more conservative than they've ever been in history. None of those things by themselves. And then when I tell you the birth rates of progressivism, which are all about women's rights, girl bossing, feminism, and the abortion rights as a right, they're destroying their own voter base. They're not overcoming our ideology and taking our children into the liberalism. They are literally destroying their user base. They are left with white women, demographic liberals, and then they don't have any reproduction rate. It is only a matter of time because all of those things are factoring together in a really, really, really bad hurricane of you're becoming irrelevant. This is the whole point. This is why I say all of these things. I look at all these details, I piece all these little individual things together, and I go, oh, wow, they might just be screwed. Long term, we're sitting pretty, but short term, we're going to fight like hell. All right, sorry to borrow Steven Crowder's line. Let's keep on going. This right here, this is an important one because you're about to watch the complete and utter defeat of the Democrats, the leftists, the progressives, and the Senate, Chuck Schumer, Hakeem Jeffries. Here's the House passing the government shutdown clean resolution that they were
on this vote. The yeas are 222, the nays are 209. The bill is passed. The motion is adopted.
All right, sorry that was loud for a second. I would also like to just throw out there really quickly. See this little part right here? 6 Democrats defected. Oh, that's awkward. So I guess the uniformity in the House didn't really supersede unto their own elections, did it? Now, a lot of people in the comments in the chats were saying, like, oh, is the House going to block it? No, the House couldn't block it, first off. Hakeem Jeffries was a toothless tiger this entire time. And now 6 Democrats even defected for a total of 222 to 209. They didn't even have a unified caucus, which is why the thumbnail shows you all the Democrats being pissed and low energy in that little seating before, what's-his-face, Hakeem Jeffries. You know what? I'm gonna move her to the end. I don't want to talk about her yet. Jasmine Crockett just irritates me. Well, she's not that. She doesn't add much. All right, let's keep on going though. This is the actual still image for the thumbnail, and the reason I did that was for a few reasons. One, Hakeem Jeffries, we're about to listen to his speech and saying that they're going to take over everything and all the power, and they're going to be real pissed because he's real pissed because he got his butt kicked. And then also the body language behind him. You can tell more about your opponents and who's doing what and what's happening by body language than by words. I want you to look at all the people behind Hakeem Jeffries right now as this speech goes through. This is the important stuff, guys. If you're just now tuning in, I'm about to show you how bad and how dour the actual, what's the best way to say that? Mood, emphasis, energy level, spirit in the Democrats is alive and well, right? All the posturing and fake energy. Look right behind him. This is when this is their concession speech. You got Jerry Nadler, the high-waisted fiend up there. He looks like, he's a big mad. You got a woman behind him. I can't remember her name. You got another guy, both real pissed. And then you got a third guy on the right, all pissed. They're all unhappy. They know they just got stuffed in the face by someone that they say is a complete and total buffoon, idiot, criminal, but they keep on losing to him. Let's go to Hakeem Jeffries. Watch this, guys. This is it right here.
Fight will end. Only 2 ways, Mr. Speaker, that this fight will end. Either Republicans finally decide to extend the Affordable Care Act tax credits this year, or the American people will throw Republicans out of their jobs next year and end the speakership of Donald J. Trump once and for all. That's how this fight ends.
Okay, guys, if you've been with me for a while, let me hear you in the comments in the chats. This is incredibly important. If you've been with me for a while, you know for a fact that when Hakeem Jeffries was talking on all these little speeches and fighting the Republicans, and they were doing it in the one big beautiful bill, there was complete and total unanimity or uniformity in the Democrat caucus, and they were standing behind him. That all the high players, all the high hitters, all the people there for the visuals, and they were up and they were excited. They was energetic. Listen to the clapping right here. That was his applause line right there. That was his big resistance applause line. Watch this. Look at the clapping.
Mr. Speaker, during this painful Trump Republican shutdown, what we've seen is two different philosophies in terms of how to govern for the American people. The Democratic Party philosophy is clear. We are ready, willing, and able to find bipartisan common ground anytime, any place, to enact spending agreements that actually make life better for the American people. But in order to do that, we need to have partners on the other side of the aisle who are actually willing to find a bipartisan path forward. But what we've seen from Republicans from the very beginning of this presidency is a my way or the highway approach.
Borrowed by the Democrats. Hey, see, that's why I look at the audio file, guys. We almost had a mistake, but it's okay. We got this. Borrowed by the Democrats. You remember Biden? Let me just throw a few names at you. Tell me if you guys remember these names. Biden, Hakeem Jeffries, Chuck Schumer, Harry Reid, Obama, Nancy Pelosi. Any of those names sound real familiar? Yeah, Republicans are just really, really bad about just going my way or the highway. Man, read between the lines. All right. Again, I want to point this out as we go past, because I can't listen to him talk more than 2 segments. He's just a very, very bad speaker in multiple ways. Look at the body language behind him. They all are in abject defeat. All of them. Yeah, I'm going to go Hakeem. Yeah, teach him. It's a completely different party. But now, speaking of a different party, man, how was that for a transition? All right, guys, listen. We are about to do something that you are going to like. I promise you, after I make you watch something from AOC, because that's always painful. But she's about to do some stuff because she's taking control of the party. She's attempting to be the parasite that takes over the host. This is what's happening in the Democrat Party. You're about to watch a CNN clip of AOC talking about Schumer and what's going to happen within the Democratic Party. This is very important. All right, let's keep on going. Thank you for the super chat. Fred, I'll get you in 1 second.
And on the shutdown, how would you characterize the way that Senator Schumer handled this shutdown?
I think it's important that we understand that this is not just about Senator Schumer, but that this is about the Democratic Party. Senator Schumer, there was no one vote that ended this shutdown. We are talking about a coordinated effort of 8 senators with the knowledge of Leader Schumer voting to break with the entire Democratic Party in exchange for nothing. And now people's health care costs are going to be skyrocketing, and we want to make sure that we have a path to ending this moment and finding relief for them right now. But I think that when we talk about this debate about the Democratic Party, it is indeed about the party writ large and our ability to fight or not.
Okay, guys, I'm telling you, I'm begging you to hear me and listen and be looking out for this. AOC and the progressives are having a broader conversation about taking over the party. That's what they're talking about. A coordinated effort between 8 senators with Chuck Schumer's advanced knowledge, and she's talking about the ability to fight and meet the moment, which is the code word for whatever they want to do. They have 2 of them right now on the left. They have meet the moment, and then they have full stop. I don't know if they focus group tested them. I don't know if they overused them in the internal communications, but for the love of God, they abuse those 2 phrases to the point of ad nauseum. Anyway, this is what's happening with AOC. You are watching her try to assert her dominance and take the party and blame the senators in the existing power structure. I'm going to show you something in a second on that point. This is really important stuff, guys. This is so key. Here's another follow-up. Before I do that, I got 2 super chats to get to. I try to keep you guys up in the super chat so we don't miss them, because you guys spend your hard-earned money and time and energy with me, and I owe you this allegiance. Fred Samuel, $5 super chat. The Democrats are eating themselves, and I'm here for it. Keep fighting like we're losing, and we will keep winning. Absolutely, Fred. That's something we say on this channel all the time. If you are new, of course, subscribe, like, share. But if you're not new, or if you, excuse me, and you also have new, we always say, vote like you're losing. Fight like you're losing. Count everything afterwards. Look at the battlefield after you've won with every effort you have. This is the time. You don't just assume and take for granted things that are happening. You grind. That's what he's talking about. All right. Anari with a $5 super chat. My nickname for Chuck Schumer deletes the H from his first name. I'm gonna let you guys do that math, and because I can't say it on the internet. All right, let's keep on going. God, you're trying to get me in trouble, guys. Some of y'all just wilding out here on these internet streets. All right, let's keep on going. Here's another AOC thing. Again, same thing, different network.
Congressman, should Chuck Schumer stay as minority leader?
I think what is so important for folks to understand is that this problem is bigger than one person, and it actually is bigger than the minority leader in the Senate. You had 8 Senate Democrats who coordinated their own votes on this, as well as you have 2 retiring members. Many of them are also up in several cycles from now, with the hope that people are going to forget this moment. And I think what's important is that we understand that this is not just a leader is a reflection of the party, and Senate Democrats have selected their leadership to represent them. And so the question needs to be bigger than just one person. We have several Senate primaries this cycle. I know I'm being asked about New York. That is years from now. I have to remind my own constituents because they think that this election is this year. We actually do have Senate elections this year, and my hope is that people across this country actually participate in their primary elections in selecting their leadership. Thank you.
Really answer the question.
Boom. You didn't really answer the question. No kidding. She's not going to answer the question. Thank you, journalist. You nailed it. You didn't really answer the question. Have you met politicians? Anyway, this is the whole point. This is the entire thing that she just said, that Bernie Sanders has said, that Ro Khanna has said, and now AOC has said. Take part in the primary elections because this is a reflection of the broader Democratic Party. They are going after the brainstem of the Democrat Party. I'm telling you. I don't care if anyone else is going to say it. I will say it openly and confidently. The progressives are trying to take the brainstem of the host that they are being a parasite to. That is what's happening actively. And in fact, we're going to do a real quick adjournment, and we're going to pull something else up because this is important. I actually just remembered something because I've got to get this video for you. We are going to do this in real time. This clip right here. I'm going to add this over here. You guys are watching me do this in real time because if you are not familiar, I do production. I am in front of the camera, I'm behind the camera, I'm around the camera, and I'm hoping everything works right. All right, so let me get back over to this real quick. Make sure I've got the AOC clip. Boom. All right. This is incredibly important. I'm glad I remembered this as we did this. I'm glad you guys are here for this part. You just watched Hakeem Jeffries' low energy get smoked in the House. Now you have support energy, nothing, right? You just watched him complete and totally get destroyed in the House, in the Senate, and in the whole shutting down of the government thing. Complete and total Democrat loss. Complete and total Republican victory. That's the only way to look at it. Then you got AOC coming out along with Bernie Sanders, Ro Khanna, all these different progressive members saying that it's time to take over the party. It is time now. Make the party go farther left. Make sure it go progressive. It's your time. The Democrat establishment has never been weaker. These are all quotes over the last 2 days. This is a former Democrat and Chris Saliza talking on News Nation. Listen to what the former Democrat says about the state of the Democrat Party and what's happening. Again, it may sound familiar. Listen to this.
Well, I think the underlying issue here, Leland, I think it's the elephant in the room, is that there's a brewing battle between the left and more moderate wings of the Democratic Party right now. And Chuck Schumer, who had...
Okay, y'all, let me hear you in the comments and the chats. How many times have we talked about that exact same concept that now former members on national network television shows are talking about as the big breaking thing that no one knew about, the elephant in the room, so to speak? How many times have we been talking about the elephant? We've not only talked about the elephant, we've killed the elephant, we've sliced up the elephant, we've served it for dinner, we've digested the elephant. We're out there looking for a giraffe. There is no elephant in the room. We've known. We've known 100% of the time. We've talked about it. Let me hear in the comments and the chats and the emojis if you remember all these talks as we let him continue. Again,
been a relative leftist, I think, for a good part of his career, is now perceived as kind of more the right-leaning Democrat.
Well, hold on, I just going to interrupt you for a second, because you said between the left and the more moderate. Is it not probably a fair commentary that there's a war right now between what was the left, meaning Chuck Schumer, and now the much farther left?
Now I think that you may have just said it more eloquently than I did, and that is absolutely what's going on. You know, at the end of the day, though, I served in Congress 6 years. It was long enough to recognize the shocking lack of leadership and strategy. Without strategy, you can't do anything. And Chuck Schumer is a tactician, and I think that's pretty clear to most people. Democrats need a strategic leader. They need a marketing first program to reintroduce the brand and the party to the country. And by the way, it's worth noting too, Leland, that Democrats are not, there's not a big gulf between the objectives. We want lower prices for people, lower health care, lower drug prices.
All right. I'm going to let him finish that in a second, but you guys have to understand what he's saying. This is a former candidate, good Lord, former representative in the House of Representatives in the Democrat Party. This is not a Republican. This is not independent. This is a Democrat. Okay? He is actively saying what you and I have been talking about for 9 to 12 months now. Okay? There is a war between the far left of the party and the existing left of the party. The Democrat establishment versus the far left progressives. They are going for the brainstem, moving from the parasitic role into the main host. He's saying it right there. Then he follows up by saying there needs to be a marketing push to reestablish and reintroduce the brand. When you are talking about reestablishing and reintroducing a brand, that means your brand is so tarnished that no one is even taking part in that brand except your core constituencies and core demographics. In their case, they've got white liberal women. That's it. They're talking about rebranding. They're talking about internal fights, struggles for party. Meanwhile, you have the opportunity to literally take this country back from anything that they want. I mean, guys, the opportunity is off the charts. Let's let them wrap up real quick, and then we'll go to the next piece. I'm glad I remembered this.
Lower housing prices, better education. It's not this, there's no gulf. The issue is how you go about it, and most of all, how you win elections. And this insurgent wing of the party, the leftist wing, I think it's fair to say they can win elections in New York City and large metropolises around the country. But winning national elections, presidential elections, where the rubber hits the road, that's what's consequential. And no one's talking about it. And if the left wing is ascendant and continues to accrue power, mark my words, it's only going to make more challenging electoral dynamics for Democrats
would be
moving forward.
Boom. Guys, y'all, the guy on the right side of your screen, Chris Saliza, just so you know, we've done videos with him where he's openly saying Jasmine Crockett wants to run for Senate in Texas and she's going to ruin everything. She's too far left progressive and she'll actually lose worse than the other guy. But they're going to put her in that position because she's progressive. Y'all, this is happening over and over and over and over again in the Democratic Party. You've got it in New York, you've got it in California, you've got it in Illinois, and now it's starting to filter into places like Houston, Texas. This is what they're talking about. Like, we're over the target because it's obvious. And as he just said, no one's talking about it. They should watch this channel more. Oh, goodness gracious. Let's keep on going. All right. This one is how I'm going to wrap this up. I'll do some other things, but this is a really important 2-minute segment. John Fetterman just came out and said something that we all know. Now, in the passing of Charlie Kirk, right, through that assassination, the way that the left reacted, the way that they fully embraced violence, the way they fully embraced death, the way they fully celebrated the assassination of a political commentator on the right because of his viewpoints. There's no way, shape, or form around that. However, John Fetterman just got a little taste of it in this shutdown, and he's willing to say it right now on CNN. Listen to this and watch Dana Bash's reaction when she openly gets confronted with the idea that the far left is a very violent organization. Watch this.
You said, quote, "I've drunk deeply of the venom of both the left and the right. As a connoisseur, I can confirm that the most poisonous, the bitterest, is from the far left." That is pretty remarkable to hear you say that as an elected Democrat. Why?
No. it's just been my personal experience on this thing. And when I asked my digital team, I said, we're on all the platforms. Really, what's kind of the harshest? What's kind of the most personal? And the answer was immediate. He said, "Oh, blue sky. It's blue sky." And the difference is, the right would say really rough things and names. Some names I won't repeat on TV, but the on the left, it was like they want me to die. Or
all right, I'm going to pause it for a second because I don't want to do 1:50 without interruption. But understand what he's saying. When he's talking to his comms directors, when he's talking to people who are actually facing the public and closest to the public, when he asked where the most vitriol comes from, it's not from the evil fascist right, it's from the far left. That kind of checks out with everything that we've seen with the Charlie Kirk assassination, the fallout of that assassination, the ICE issues, the ICE riots, which magically went away, the Antifa riots that are happening magically went away. All this stuff that just magically happened and went away within a 3-week time frame from this video, and it doesn't exist anymore because we started shutting down the government. Literally, it's coming back again and again and again because it is reality. The far left is willing to accept death, violence, and enact it upon people for the greater good of their ideological preferences. It's not a question. It's not even a up-in-the-air decision. It is literally observable. Okay? Super chat right over here from NoSam, $6,002, $10. It's just a matter of time before the GOP squanders all these awesome wins. It's completely possible, NoSam, I'm going to be honest with you. I can't control them. I can only control me. That's the attitude and the drive that I've always had on this channel, and I hope you guys share that as well. We're going to grind like we're losing, and we're going to save the country together. And they can either help or they can get out of the way. Honest to God, I'm not going to let that stop my efforts. It's just been my standard ever since the gun world had the 2A stuff that we've been doing. Let's keep on going, though. John Fetterman.
Or that we're cheering for your next stroke, or that's terrible that depression won. Why couldn't it depression won? And I hope your kids find you. They even have like the graphic, a GIF where they have like a stroke, in your head, cheering at that. Yeah, and they said that. I remember one, they claimed, the doctor let us down, and why did they have to save his life? Just really, I just can't imagine. People are wishing, I wish he dies, or I want him to die, literally cheering for a stroke. And I don't know what the kind of a place where that comes from. That's much different than just calling me a name. That's really been consistent, in that community online.
That's really been consistent in that community online. And here's the point of why I want to wrap this video with that segment. It goes against anyone who does not pass their purity test or their ideological virtue signal. If you don't fill the right boxes, you are subhuman. If you support Donald Trump, you are subhuman. If you consider yourself MAGA, conservative, Republican, anything other than what I want, you are subhuman. If you voted for Republican, you're subhuman. All of these things are symptoms of what the very people that he's talking to created. The nonstop network of Donald Trump is a fascist, he's a Nazi, he's a sociopath, he's evil, he hates everybody, he wants you dead, he wants to kill people. All those things for 10 years. You had an entire population that was indoctrinated by that for 10 years. And now it's mainline culture on the far left, blue sky, on Reddit, on the internet. It is really, really a problem. And you saw this in multiple occasions, not just John Fetterman's example here, but you saw it with the other House reps who have death threats all the time. You saw it with Charlie Kirk's assassination. The fact is, there's a violence problem on the far left. They burn buildings down through Antifa support, through riots. Their own candidates block vehicles in the road. They make that into a propaganda piece. It's nonstop and never ending because the far left is the one that's driving the crazy on the Democrat side. The Democrats are not standing up to them, and they're going to become victim to the same thing. This is an example of that. I don't know. Maybe I'm onto something. Maybe I'm not. That is for us to decide. Another video because our time together this evening has expired, concluded, gone the way of the dodo bird, as it were. But I love each and every one of you just the right amount. Let me know what you think of this content, and I hope that we are landing that plane. I'd love to see you in the chat, the comments, the emojis, and I will see you guys tomorrow when we get right back on the horse and continue this march towards freedom and the never-ending assault upon our freedom from the left. I'm Braden. See you guys later.